Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. You are listening to Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. I am Sean Williams, aka Mr. President, and today you're listening to the Safe Room. It is a safe space for entrepreneurs, business owners here in Toronto to share their personal and professional stories. And today we have a very, very special guest. I have to give a proper intro. You know how we be on the show, the intros have to be over the top. So, with over 10 years of experience. So she's a veteran in the game. She's been doing this for a decade. She's not a youngin in any bit. She has provided holistic, compassionate care to individuals, couples, and groups navigating anxiety, depression, grief, self-esteem challenges, identity exploration, trauma, life transition, and much more. And I emphasize on the word much more. There's a lot in there. But basically, she's kind of like the superwoman of helping folks when it comes to mental health and being able to overcome their personal challenges or things that be keeping them down. And that's going to be the main conversation for this when it comes to mental health, some of the different practices that she offers to her clients. And again, I'm super to have her on the show because this conversation was supposed to happen in June, ladies and gentlemen. So it's 2 months in the making. So I feel like it's time to finally bring her on. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the wonderful Miss Cassandra Francis. Cassandra, how are
Yes,
you doing?
Sean, I'm good. I'm good. It's nice to finally be here speaking with you and all the listeners. Definitely highly anticipated. Behind the scenes, though, only we really knew.
Definitely 100%. I'm glad to have you on. And yeah, like I mentioned before, like it was supposed to happen in June, but life was life and things happened and it
Definitely,
just was not in
definitely.
place. But now that we're here, I'm glad that we're having the conversation again. We're going to be talking about your work in One Piece Therapy. Fire name, by the way. I just love it. Just
Thank
sticks out
you.
immediately.
Thank you.
100%, 100%. So again, we're gonna get into your work, what you do, what you offer. We're gonna have a deep conversation on, some of the different services that you provide to your clients. Really talk about the emphasis of mental health. We've had multiple people come on the show and talk about mental health, but I feel like with your vast expertise and even just the collective of practitioners that you've, brought together for this, I think it's gonna be very interesting to hear your story and how One Piece Therapy got started. But before we get into all of that, we got to get into our opening segment, and that is
Mhm.
our hot seat. Now, Cassandra, I know it might sound like super intimidated. Honestly, it's very chill. It's very
I
chill.
hope so, Sean. I don't get too hot in this seat.
You'll be fine. You'll be totally fine. I'm just gonna ask you 4 questions, and I just want you to answer them to your best abilities. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, perfect. So the first question. So outside the work that you do being with One Piece Therapy, tell me something about yourself in one sentence.
In one sentence. Okay. In one sentence, something about me. I am a dynamic creative.
Okay. That's it?
Oh, you said one sentence. I don't even know how much words to include in this sentence.
I
Well,
mean, look. No pressure. I totally get it. Sometimes because like I like to ask like my guests, like, do you want to like expand on that? Like, why was that like the one sentence that came to me? Like, I'm a
oh,
like
I could.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, I'm a dynamic creative because there is many different expressions of me, and I like to do it through art. So I used to be a professional dancer, and I still dance, not professionally, but I still get my groove on. So that creative expression is definitely dear and near to my heart. I also am a spoken word artist. I haven't performed in a long time, but I'm definitely still writing and expressing my thoughts. So I have so much perspectives and feelings and all the things that I just love to integrate and express creatively. So um, that's a little bit about me.
I love that. I love that. There's honestly some things in there that I didn't even know. I did not know you did like spoken word. Like
Yes.
that's definitely new. Honestly, I feel like you should have saved that for like question number 3 I'm gonna ask. But like we're gonna get into
Ooh,
that later.
okay,
But
no problem.
it's all good. Sometimes when the excitement comes in, just like, oh, I just want to like share this aspect of me. And I think
I'm
it's
so
great.
excited. I'm very excited to be here, Sean.
Guys, that's what we love. We love when our guests are just like super pumped and energetic to be part of the
Yeah,
conversation.
definitely.
Yes, 100%. Okay, so my next question I want to have ask you, and this one might be, I wouldn't want to say personal, but this one's a deep one. This one's a deep one. So,
Okay.
what was the last time you were at full peace with someone you had issues with?
Oh, yeah, this is a hot seat, Sean. This is it's getting hot.
Spicy.
Yeah, it passed lukewarm now. When was the last time I was at full peace with someone? You know what? Actually, it's interesting because as therapists, people really do think highly of us and expect that we know how to just navigate life flawlessly. So I like that you add in the piece of, had conflict with, because of course that exists in my life as well. But it's interesting because who came to mind is another practitioner. We were colleagues that somehow fell apart. We had this unspoken, cordial beef, I guess. I don't even know how to capture it, but we knew that we weren't as close as friends anymore, but we were great colleagues. So one day, as both of our careers elevated more since meeting in our masters, we really got together and we are just like, what actually happened? Like we remember all the great memories we had in our master's program, and to lose that connection, even celebrating together when we graduated from our masters, to not speaking much unless it's like a business referral, right? So being able to reconnect with her, who is also a creative, but musically, it has been very refreshing to know, okay, as much as we're not perfect, we can still apply the tools as practitioners to our own life. And it's been really good connecting with my girls. So yeah.
I love that. Honestly, that's so great to hear because I think what you even said too is like practitioners in the field that you do, they feel like, oh, you're not allowed to like have these flaws. You're not allowed to just feel sad or have your issues when like
Right.
you have to remember like although you're helping like other individuals and other clients, you're also human as well. So if you're
Definitely.
going through your own things, it's not something where it's like, oh, we can brush that off. Like you have to keep consideration for that. So I think for you and to even know that was from another fellow like practitioner is even more interesting because you would probably think that issue is probably with like a close friend or someone but it's like no, someone that was like in my field as well. So you feel like there's that level of tension or a level of like
Right.
competitiveness. No matter what field you are, we will have like different competitors. If you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, but to find that reconciliation period for you both, I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's like really great. I think that's super important for anyone listening. So again, sometimes it's not good to just hold grudges. Sometimes like yes,
Yes,
you're going to go through those bumps, but overall you need to find ways to overcome and move on.
exactly. You're already tapping into the topic, Sean. Mental health. Flowing through your emotions is so important.
100%, 100%. Okay, next question. And this was the question I was waiting to ask because of what you said in your first answer.
Okay.
So you talked about, like spoken word. That's something that you used to do and I thought you were going to probably save that for this question, which is I want you to tell me an interesting fact that you rarely share about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So being a spoken word artist. And you know why? It's because whenever you tell people or do any art form, like, oh, let me see it. It doesn't even matter where you are, what you're doing. Oh, let me see you do it. Let me see it. So if I'm not ready, if I'm not rehearsed, I just keep that to the side. But now it's just become more of like my I don't know. I don't know if I'm moving on to another question now, but now it's become more of just my self care. Again, just my creative expression to just put my words together with some rhythm involved, with some bars involved. Like I'm personally enjoying my work, and I think I missed that when I used to perform. It was more of, okay, how do I prepare for this performance and make sure I'm remembering all the things and I'm hitting the notes I want to hit. It's just like I just want to express myself and just reflect on that expression.
I love that. Yeah, honestly, like I feel like we all have something about us where we just want to show out our artistic side or just be more expressive with our thoughts. Like for me, like I'm a huge like music guy. I love listening to music, and I feel like sometimes like I tell myself like I want to low key like write my own song or like get into music for
Yeah,
a
you
bit and just kind of
should.
like do something along the likes of that, kind of tread that tightrope. So I mean, I feel like everyone has that, but I think that's what makes us special in a way where it's like, okay, even though you're known for this profession, there's always that extra layer to you that you get to peel back and be like, oh wow, like I didn't know Sean was like super like expressive with his thoughts or like charismatic. Because a lot of people would not believe this. Like I was a quiet person. Like when I was young, I was
Mhm.
by myself. I was like not speaking to no one. Now I step in the room, I'm like the loudest one there. Like I'll probably like
Right.
chatting the place up.
The mic is on.
Definitely. So I mean, like, I find that great that for you, it's like, the spoken word, like it's still there. And there's parts of it where you want to get back into that. And like I love how you even answer that question off by saying, like, oh, when people hear that you're in art, like, oh, like show me a piece. Like, can I hear something? It's like, don't
Yeah.
catch me lacking, please stop.
I know. Let me just say a one, two, keep it moving. Like, let's flow here.
Yep, 100%. Like they're gonna catch you and it's just like, listen, bro, I can't. Like just next time. And it's like when you say next time, that
Yeah.
means like never. Like I'm not
That
interested.
means avoidance. That's what it
Yep. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. So going on to the final question for this hot seat segment. What is your personal safe room? So what is a safe space? And this safe space could be like physical, it could be mental, that allows you to be your authentic self.
Mm, the beach. The beach
Okay.
in the Caribbean. Let's be specific because the sand matters, the ocean matters. I'm not a fan of lake water, even though I do tap in because I appreciate my environment as well. But definitely being in the ocean, whether it's the Caribbean Ocean, Atlantic, um, Mediterranean Sea. I just love being in the presence of large body of water that is also very healing in its whether it's aroma or the touch to my body. I just love the beach. It gives me all the feels I need, and it's so grounding and comforting. So ultimately it's definitely my safe room.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Honestly, and I don't think I've met one folk or one person that's like Caribbean that said like, you know what, I prefer the beach here and like in this country or like it's just like no, it has to be the Caribbean. It's like, oh, I love like Wasaga Beach. I love the beach like in downtown Toronto or like at the harbor front. It's like
Oh, we
no,
try, we try, we try.
I don't even think it's a try, Cassandra. It's just like it's just never gonna happen.
We exist. We exist.
Yeah, so I mean, like, no, I love that. And honestly, that's also like a pretty original answer. I mean, I don't think I heard that much people come on the show and say that the beach was their safe space. And the way you even described it, like it kind of painted a visual in my head. I'm not gonna lie, you got me thinking about going on a plane right now to Grenada. Just like,
You
just
deserve it.
Yeah, just
You
drop everything.
deserve
Like,
it.
let me go on a plane to a Grenada, like sipping on a coconut. It is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yes, you won't regret it. Like it's so healing spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally. Like all senses and all aspects of self is just that's my nature spot. I know some people do it in the forest, that's their cleansing, but yeah, the water is it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's like I feel like there's like a certain demographic. There's like the Caribbean, it's like the beach, and then there's like another demographic, it's the forest, and then another one's like, oh, let's go to a cottage, and it's like you have your
Yes,
specific groups that go to specific places, like that's their feng shui in a way.
definitely. The mountains is a part of that scenic too.
100%, 100%. Okay, so that's all the questions for the hot seat. Now we're gonna get into the main questions. But again, before we get into that, if you guys are just tuning in, you're listening to the Safe Room here on Love Bay Radio. We're here with Cassandra. She is the founder of One Piece Therapy. We're now gonna get into the origins of One Piece Therapy, how everything got started. But I feel like I need to say this quick announcement before we get into things. So for the last couple of weeks, I was promoting a very special event that was dear to my heart, which was the Safe Room's 5th-year anniversary celebration. And unfortunately, I had to postpone it because I'm going to be blunt. You guys know me, I am transparent. Everyone I invited was busy at the time. And obviously, July is a very competitive month. Things got very hectic. So I decided, you know what? I don't want to have an event where no one's gonna be there. It just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So I decided to postpone it. And now I'm here to say that we have a new date locked in. So it's gonna be
Yay.
happening on September 20th. It's on a Saturday. And it's going for even longer time. Originally it was 6 to 9. Now it's 6 to 11. So even more time to come out and celebrate. It's still going to be taking place at the same location, 309 Cherry Street in downtown Toronto. Shout out to Toronto Podcast for allowing us to host our event at their studio. So again, if you guys want to reserve your spot right now, you guys can go to my Instagram at the Safe Room Official. Check out my recent posts. And if you comment cheers, you will get an automated link that will show you where you can RSVP. So again, make sure you do that. I will be reminding you guys again. And I'm telling you, I want y'all to pop out. I gave y'all a slide because it was July. September, there's no excuse. I need y'all to come out because I tell you, I got an agenda for that day. I
Yes,
got I got things planned. So you definitely want to pop out.
yes.
So yeah, all right. We're gonna get back into the conversation now. So Cassandra, my first question I wanted to ask you is how important was building the blueprint for One Piece Therapy and being able to assemble an amazing crew of practitioners to execute the vision you had originally? Because, like, I can only imagine just trying to put the business together, but also saying, okay, I need to bring in practitioners that know what they're doing, that's had like, vast amount of experience, that's able to get results, but also have that human connection. It's not just about like, okay, you're good at what you do. Now, like, fix
Right.
this problem. It's like, no, like we want it to be, it's like a family environment as well. So how was it, or I guess how important was it for you to build One Piece Therapy from the ground up, but also getting the right people to help execute that vision?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. To honestly, Sean, to be transparent, I'm also still processing that I'm building One Piece Therapy from the ground up. It's such a journey. It's such a journey, and I constantly learn every single day, and every decision that I have to make, I'm learning. It's a learning curve, so it's crucial to make sure that I'm intentional as I build the team to support my vision, right? But also, of course, it's important to have quality people, because we want quality. We don't start a business not wanting it to do well, right? And thrive and exceed our expectations. So often, as much as it's important for me to, of course, consider the education, and the experience. I also know, as you said, like how you connect with someone on a personal level, on a vulnerable level. Like we're talking therapy, we're talking health. So people are going to be vulnerable regardless what they're coming with. So having someone that knows how to build rapport, how to hold space, how to be empathic, but also confidently. Because of course you don't want to see someone who seems unsure about who they are today and tomorrow, right? Again, we're human. Let me also not glamorize too much, right? But there is still this core that I do look for the practitioners that I do hire. I also go through a lot of questions with them. You know, I do think about, I'm like, okay, would I see you if I was a client? You know, am I comfortable with you? Can you support me with what I'm going through? And if it feels like they can, and I see that they're also passionate about their work, and a person of color as well is important, if I might, you know, if I should add, like, you know, it's all things that make up One Piece Therapy's vision and also our mission. It's like, am I really feeling that genuine drive for who I want to be part of the team? Then we're on our way.
Yep, 100%. Honestly, like I think there's always that trope when you're building a team that sometimes depending on who the business owner is and what their cultural background is, you'll tend to lean towards a certain I will say direction of like who you select. So like, and again, like I don't even want to like generalize or even like put myself that this is like a stigmatization in any way. But if you're a black business owner, sometimes when you're building your team, or most times, you're looking for black people. You are looking for black people, and I'm just being transparent because I feel like sometimes the best way to build something through a community oriented standpoint, it's with your own people. So whether you're black, you're Hispanic, maybe you're Asian, or just like you just tend to lean more into those folks. But I feel like what's great with One Piece Therapy, like I was scrolling through the website, it's like, yes, it's people of color, but I also feel like there's so many vast backgrounds you're seeing as well. It's not just leaning towards like, oh, it's just all black people, then like one Asian, or just like no, that's not the case. There's like it's like a multicultural pot, but again, it still keeps that family village mentality, which I think is super important for any business owner. Because again, building a team is not just about like getting people to just do jobs. Like, that's not a team.
Right.
That's just a group. A group is like, okay, we're here to just like do like separate things and da 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 da. But it's like a team is like there is a cohesive thoughts and a cohesive mission that you're all working together on.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, I love the fact that you said even at the beginning that I'm still building it, Sean. It's like I don't even know how to reflect. It's like it's still kind of like
Yeah,
going
it's
on.
absolutely there's constant building blocks. So I'm also, even as you're talking, I'm like, yeah, you know, that's a great answer too, Sean. I'm like building my own answer with your answer. But absolutely, a team has one goal. You know, I don't know if you remember that movie Drumline with Nick Cannon. And
Hold on. Did you just ask me that question? Do
I
you remember
did,
Drumline, Sean?
I did, you know, just in case.
It's all good.
But I always remember that line, you know, one band, one sound, right? And
Mm,
that's what I try to achieve with hiring people. But that's what we try to bring in is, you know, one band, one sound. And you know, we have different components of health that we tackle, but it's still the understanding of how we support someone holistically. And again, it's One Piece Therapy is about supporting the community holistically. So if someone is understanding of that and really embodies that, then we're almost halfway there of, you know, being part of the team.
yep. 100%. 100%. And before I go on to my next question, I do have a follow-up question. Like, how did the name One Piece Therapy come to be?
Yes. Well, I get asked this question a lot, actually. I should have packaged my answer appropriately by now. But honestly, I was just brainstorming one day, and I remember wanting to ensure that the name I chose for my practice would reflect how I want people to feel, and it also being clear on what I offer. So when I think of, okay, therapy, knowing that I want to offer different therapeutic services, I'm like, all right, I like one, right? Because that's whole. It's a whole number. And we often want to achieve that wholeness when we're on any healing journey. And the emotion of peace is enticing, it's comforting, it's desired, it's demanded. So I really felt connected to including that. And then therapy just really ties it in of what we offer is that one piece therapy, so that someone can get back to their holistic self. And I then Googled, I'm like, does anybody have this name? And then I saw an anime. And I'm like, an anime? Oh, I'm sold.
I
I'm
know
sold.
exactly what you're talking about too. This is coming from someone that doesn't even watch anime, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but honestly, I love that. I love that because I'm just like, okay, we're tapping into the creative side. Like I don't know. I don't really watch anime. I tried. I dabbled in some Naruto, but I don't know One Piece, but I do like that there's an anime named One Piece because I know their stories are very deep and they often have like a very beautiful, resilient ending. And I'm just like, that's the journey. So it was something nice to not mimic at all, but it's just all right. We out here. We're both out here.
100%. I think that's also important too. Like anyone who's starting like a business, like I think one of the process, like you have to search of like, okay, is this name taken? Because obviously,
Yeah.
you want to be careful. I think honestly, that's something you may want to think about, like getting a trademark, perhaps. Just like
We
okay,
do, Sean. We do.
that's good. That's good. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think I need to take that step too because there's a
You
couple of
should.
podcasts with the same format. Like obviously they're not on like the level that we are. Happily, I'm glad that's the case. But you gotta be safe.
Yes, you got to be safe, and you want to be safe in the safe room.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, going on to the next question. So, why was your goal to like, when it comes to your service, to have as much, cover points? Obviously there's a lot when it comes to surrounding holistic wellness, especially with an emphasis on the BIPOC community. So, just through your
Right.
previous work, why did you want to have a vast amount of like services that you can talk about? Because obviously I've seen a lot of like mental health clinics, and sometimes they'll focus on like maybe three or four, but as like I read the bio of yours, there's a lot that you have based on your expertise. So it can be sometimes daunting, like wow, like do they really like have this much experience? I mean, I didn't even think like they would even touch upon this. So just from your previous work, why was it your goal to try to talk so deeply about the importance of holistic wellness, especially with emphasis towards the BIPOC community?
Yes, another beautiful question. Being part of the BIPOC community, being a Black woman, it's as much as we're aware, and I'm aware of my health, it tends to be spoken in isolation, right? Like if I'm like, oh, my throat hurts, then that's only what I'm going to be focusing on, right? Or if I'm like, okay, my mind is very busy, I'm very occupied, I can't sleep, and that's only what I'm going to be focused on. And I find that's how we're taught, that's how we're spoken to, and most often it is one-sided, such as physical, right? So when it comes to the other aspects of health, because yes, we're known for psychotherapy, but we also offer nutrition and osteopathy services. And I find that it's crucial to offer the holistic wellness services and even approach within one practitioner, because we don't often talk about our health as people of color. We just isolate it, or it's easy to dismiss if it's not extreme. So I find that when we can understand how our mind and body connect, right, how even spirituality impacts us, how nature and nurture impacts us, it really does create this thorough, holistic understanding of who you are and how to take care of yourself. And that's crucial, because a lot of people that, or a lot of studies, a lot of environments that don't go that deep into our care. It's kind of like, if you don't have this, then you're fine, right? Or if you have this, then you're that. Like it's so much more to understand about us. And having a team of practitioners that already look like most of our clients, it just helps to understand who you are. And that's important for me. And there's trust there too, right? Like when you see someone that looks like you and they're supporting you on your healthcare journey, why not go through it all and build trust and come to a comprehensive understanding of, okay, this is where I need to heal. Let's do this together.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And, like you mentioned, like when it comes to the BIPOC community, I feel like you don't hear enough conversations about our health being discussed in certain spaces. And it comes to the point where our own mental health is being like weaponized in a way where you just don't feel safe to talk about it. And sometimes it's just afraid for people to speak on it, especially when it like looking at like a black man. Like overall, like you have that toxic masculinity trait where it's not okay to like be open with your thoughts. It's like you have to wear this like proverbial mask on your face that says you need to be tough, like you need to come off as like a alpha man, an alpha dog. You can't be sensitive in certain spaces. Or for women, it's like, oh, the black angry women, like once they get crazy, like, oh, like watch out. But it's like, again, it's not taking the time to really talk about like the different emotions that go into these different folks from the BIPOC community. But I do love how you mentioned with the team how you can sit down and have a conversation with someone that's like of your same skin color. There's something powerful about that, where like if you go to like and again I'm not throwing shades like any other like anyone watching any other practitioner, but like if you are a black person going to like a white practitioner, sometimes, or 9 times out of 10, like you may not have like that vulnerability to like open up on certain thoughts. Usually it's like you'll tend to clinch up and just say, I don't want to say nothing. Or even like the classic phrase when it comes to black people, like, we don't need therapy. Like we don't need to do that. Black people don't do therapy. So I mean, overall, it's important that we need to be more open. And I feel like through the years and going by, like that generational, like I guess, bondage of trying to be more open and starting to break and loosen up a bit. Because again, when we had our parents, it's a whole nother matter. It's like you can't be open. But now, like we have lots of like black folks that are now like going to therapists and going to therapy and practicing that self-care.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I love that.
Me too, honestly. As you mentioned in that lovely introduction, I have been in the field for I think over 12 years now, because time just be flying. And it's been beautiful to see the gradual shift of people of color, in particular Black people, accessing mental health support. It's like, yes, you are human and you have mental health. Like we're navigating life for the first time. So it's so important to just normalize. There's a lot of things that we've been through, whether it's generational or situational, right? And we need support. As Black women, there is even that the independent, strong Black woman. And as beautiful as that narrative is, when it comes at a neglect for yourself and this superhero complex, it's like, oh, we're human. down to the core, we bleed the same, you know? So I find the shift of Black people accessing health care, accessing mental health in particular, it's so nice to see. It's so nice to see.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And, honestly, again, we need to have that grace for ourselves to be more open, to be more transparent. And
Yeah,
sometimes, obviously, it's a process. It's not something that can be done in one day. You'll have to go through like those different phases. And, some people assume that when you're going through different phases, sometimes it's like very linear, but
right,
really it's all over the place. It's a whole mess where you'll go through one emotion, then you'll go to like the next, and it's just so sporadic. And maybe sometimes you'll revert back to the same emotion you were at before. And sometimes it'll take you a while to finally get to the end and say, like, okay, like that was a lot. It felt like a storm. People assume that, oh, like you get angry, you get depressed, then you reflect, and then everything's just like smooth sailing. But like that's not the case.
right. No. It's still life we're dealing with and integrating ourselves into constantly. So it's not linear, but it can still be beautiful, and there is still growth regardless of the ups and downs. You know, you're still moving upward as long as you're learning and being intentional about your experience, and you can only reap the benefits.
100%. Absolutely. Okay. Again, let's go on to the next question. But again, for those who are listening, again, you're listening to the Safe Room here on Love Bay Radio. We're here with Cassandra, the founder of One Piece Therapy. So we've been having a fantastic conversation. I hope you guys brought your notebooks and your pens because we've been dropping a lot of gems in this conversation. It's gonna continue as we go. So Cassandra, my next question is this. I want you to share your own personal story on how you worked on your mental health and your well being, and how
Mhm.
some of the services and specialties that you offer are a byproduct of some of the obstacles you've had to overcome. Because usually, sometimes, there's a lot of times for a lot of business owners, the reason why they've created their business as what it is, it's based on a personal moment or personal experience. Like for me, when I started the Safe Room, it was originally because I did a little bit of podcasting back in university, but more importantly, I didn't want to feel like alone because like it was at the beginning of the pandemic where the safe room started, where everything was in lockdown, and I didn't want to feel lonely. I wanted to at least talk to some people and have a space to just have conversations. So it stemmed from that personal moment. So I wanted to ask you to share a story of when you worked on your mental health, you worked on your well-being, and how some of the services you offer today are a byproduct from your personal experience.
Yes, vulnerability. The seat remains hot, by the way, Sean. I didn't know it, it was throughout.
No, 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 no. I'm telling you, like it's not as hot. Don't worry.
Yes, that's an interesting question. You know what? When I realized that I wanted to study psychology, when I realized the power of the mind, for any of those that have studied psychology or alike fields, you really begin to self-diagnose a lot. Like you're like, am I this? Did this happen to me? Like what? Like what does this mean? Did I experience it when I was 10? You like so much questions, so much confusion, but also there's a lot of like breakthroughs of like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And that's what happened when I started to study psychology. I began to really reflect on my own mental health and the different wounds that I was carrying. And as much as I knew, because I know, for example, unfortunately, I didn't have a close relationship with my father. And as much as that's evident, right? Like you would know if you have a good relationship with the parent or not. It's also you don't really know how much it impacts you until you really pull on that thread. And I wanted to see someone. I wanted to see a counselor or a therapist. I think at those times I only thought they were counselors or psychiatrists. But I know I didn't want to see a psychiatrist. I'm like, I don't need medication or I don't feel like I have a disorder. I just need to talk to someone. And I thought I had to go to my GP to get that. And she actually rejected me. She said, no, I'm not going to refer you to anybody. Like, it's just easier if you cut your father off. And I'm like, what? Like, I was so surprised that that was the solution. But at the same time, I'm not surprised because what help am I really going to get in this atmosphere? So that was part of the reason that actually led me to be a psychotherapist, is because I didn't want people of color to feel like they need to get a referral from a physician in order to see me. I think it was very important to know that once you're ready to talk to someone, just approach whoever you need to, right? And get that healing journey started. And for me, once I did finally tap back in to, okay, I need to talk to somebody, because that turned me off, to be honest. It took many, many years for me to be like, all right, this, let me just shake that off now and actually talk about it. And it's been tremendous. Even in my master's program, like, they really open you up to all your secrets, all your wounds, all your confusions, so you can get through that. And I definitely continue to work on, but also have worked on, the relationship, like interpersonal relationships in general, has been one of my specialties, and is one of my specialties. And also self-esteem and self-worth. I find I've been blessed enough to have that level of self-esteem and self-worth, and often found myself wanting to give that to others and pour into others, because it's not easy to access, especially in certain environments. So I also want to point that out, because not only do I support clients with what I've healed from and continue to heal from, but also what I've already been solid in and what my strengths already are. It's like, oh, I got you. Like, that's your weakness. Let's talk about it, because it feels good to have that locked in, right? Also, trauma is another concern that I'm very comfortable working with. Identity as well, whether it is the big existential, who am I, what is my purpose, or it is the identity of, I want to switch careers and this hat feels different, or this hat feels lopsided, and also emotionally regulation. And that's another one of my strengths, I must point out. I was blessed enough to also have a mom who studied children development as her profession. So she directly, indirectly gave us tools on how to regulate, and therefore I was able to do so with my own self, the best of my abilities as a young child, but definitely, again, reaping the benefits now. But also, again, with my friends, with my clients, like, I'm not scared of emotions and the intensity that they can appear in, especially when someone doesn't know how to regulate. I love rawness, because I've already experienced raw. So it's life influences our work, Sean. Honestly, like, again, education is crucial, but it really is the lived experiences that just hit. They hit different.
Yeah, 100%. Honestly, like, I have nothing else to add on. I feel like everything you said was so, like, eloquently put, and I
Thank
love that.
you.
And also, thank you for, like, sharing that story as well, because I can only imagine just the thoughts going through your head, probably having to, like, relive those moments occasionally, but being able to find strength in that and turn it into something special, like one piece therapy, to help others not relive that moment, I think is, like, super powerful overall.
Thank you, Sean.
100%, of course. My next question I want to get into is specifically on your services. So, like, what is the major distinction you try to cover with your services? Like, how you deliver them, how much ground you're trying to get across, and even just what each services offers. Because I can only imagine someone who's probably discovering your page for the first time, maybe have scrolled through your website and maybe they don't know exactly what each services may pre-tell, or even someone who knows exactly like what they're going to your website for still may want to have a good understanding of just like, does this one service connect to like the other one? Is it like a 2 for 1? Like, how can I just fully understand and fully grasp? So again, just like, what is like the major distinctions you try to cover with each of your services?
Yes. Well, of course, it's a process to choose the right fit. We are a team of 10 practitioners, and that includes 8 psychotherapists and 1 nutritionist and 1 osteopath. So, depending on the service you need, whether it's mental health related, physical health related, or nutritional health, like, and even as I say this, you can kind of hear, I'm like, oh, like they play a role with each other, right? Especially depending on concerns. So, uh, the distinction, one of them is, of course, what are you looking for? Like, what is your starting point? Maybe someone wants healing from an energy imbalance, right? They have like stuck energy. They're not feeling the same way they used to, but they're not sure why. So maybe before we add words to that, we're just going through the energy balancing with the osteopath, right? And removing stuckness. And as that happens, now there's more vocabulary and more emotions coming out. And now we're tapping into the mental health aspect, right? And we have female practitioners, a male practitioner, a non binary, and we speak altogether more than 6 languages. So everyone has their own specialty to offer depending on what our client needs and where they're at in their journey. And sometimes as we get into the mental health aspect, it's okay, you're not eating right. Like, some people eat more when they're stressed, some people eat less when they're stressed. And most times if it's stress, you're not eating well, regardless if it's more or less. And in that regard, it's okay, let's see nutritionists, right? I think food is underestimated, but also like people know. It's so weird, but I think it's important to just have someone on the team that can tap into that aspect, whether again it's weight monitoring or emotional eating, even diabetes and other chronic illnesses. It's important to understand like your body is one, right? So what impacts one will impact the other, and it's important that we can offer that. And we offer both virtually and in person as well, although everybody has their own specialty of what approach they offer, what modality they use, and even what age group they see. We all offer virtual in-person care because that is it's just important to cover that ground so someone can feel supported, so it limits the excuses as well of not wanting to check in on your health. It's just important to just cover whoever walks through our door. We want to ensure they feel supported in their journey and their starting points of their journey.
Yeah, I love that. And it's, sometimes when it comes to certain businesses that get started off, they'll probably focus on a couple of services and then eventually like grow and add on. And maybe they'll have like a certain capacity that they stop at. But I feel like, again, there's so much that the team that you've put together of practitioners, again, the psychotherapists, the osteopaths, the nutrition coaches, despite like there's so many different things that can be covered. Again, even what you mentioned, like age, the demographic is super important that someone could tackle. The fact that combined all of you could speak like 6 different languages, like that's incredible as well. So having that, like that bilingual aspect is like great. So I mean, yeah, it seems like you guys like are a well-oiled machine, but like you mentioned at the beginning,
Thank
you're
you.
still building.
Yes, there's definitely still building blocks. We are 5 years in as well. So it's still a learning curve. And I love to learn as well. So I think it's important to just remain open to the process as I build a holistic process. Um, but I do appreciate that those that come into our services, they often, again, especially with people of color, I might be speaking biasly or not because that's just who I predominantly support and specialize with. Um, it's not just one concern. Like when we tap in, there's a lot of other things going on because more than often it's their first time in therapy, and therefore there's a history of unprocessed things, right? So I do appreciate having a team that is diverse and just multi-skilled and talented and capable, because it just holds the capacity for our demographic to just come in as you are. We're not going to limit you to one concern or one symptom, right? We're open to supporting you and ready to support you.
100%. 100%. Okay, going on to my next question.
Okay.
Why do you believe the role of mental health clinics like One Piece Therapy needs to be placed at the forefront for everyday individuals, but also business owners? Because I feel like a lot of people don't realize that business owners are probably one of the most like, it's one of the toughest jobs out there because again, you are
Yeah.
like your own boss, 9 to 5, but just the mental strain, the physical strain that goes into it. Sometimes like we need to have that outlet to express our mental health. So why do you feel one piece therapy is not only just dare to play that role, but to be like the center piece for mental health clinics that help support business owners?
Yes. Oof. Big question. Big question. And I think it really does tie into what I've mentioned is because we offer diverse services and on in diverse modalities, right? So we support people as they are with where they're starting from. And I think that's so crucial because a lot of services they would limit who you can see, how long you can see them, where you can see them, of course when, because everybody has a schedule. But we're open and ready, and I don't think that's offered, especially to BIPOC individuals, right? So Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Um, that safe space to pick who you want to see based on where you're at, and knowing that you can show up again with your history and it not be neglected or dismissed. It's crucial to have that because mental health is everything. So we need to have that trust and that safety, um, to tap into that part of ourselves, right? And from there, it just shapes how we see the world. It shapes how we interact with our world. And that includes relationships outside of ourselves and with ourselves. So mental health is everything, and knowing that there's a space that helps you tackle it and then some is is so crucial, for me to just pinpoint and, ensure that especially business owners know, like, again, we're all human regardless of the hats we wear. It's still a human body we're operating and not a machine, and therefore we have mental health, right? And
Yeah.
mental health also, sorry, Sean, I just want to say too, mental health also includes the good, right?
Hmm.
Some people, I have some clients that, they're successful, and unfortunately, people around them aren't as successful as them. So they feel they can't share their milestones. So sometimes they come to therapy. I'm like, I just need a space to say how happy I am. I just want to be present because I worked hard to be as happy as I am. And I'm still moving and I'm accomplishing things, but like this journey has been one in the making, right? So I must say it's not only negative stuff, but mental health is overall your mind and how well it can function, good and bad. So that it's important to give space to that.
100%. I love that. Okay, so I want to go on to our next portion of this conversation. That is the role play exercise. So basically, for this, I'm just going to pretend that I'm not Sean. Like, I'm someone completely different. And we're going to kind of
Mhm.
act out sort of like a, I guess, a discovery call. Let's say I'm someone that's found your page for the first time and I have some questions I want to ask you about One Piece therapy. We try to create this type of environment. So for anyone who wants to reach out to Cassandra in real life, virtual, in person, whatever case may be, you get a preview of just how Cassandra is. You know, is she like super open? Is she more like laid back? Like what's the vibe check? You know, that's what we're trying to figure out with this role play exercise. So this is always like something a lot of people enjoy in terms of like this conversation. Everyone likes to get active. So you know what, Cassandra, for this, I want you to actually to give me a name. Like again, I'm not Sean in this. Like you can give me a name, like a different persona for this.
Hmm. Bruce.
Okay, Bruce. It's kind of like Bruce Wayne. No, we're not gonna do Bruce Wayne, but Bruce is good. Okay, okay. So all right. So let's give it a go.
Okay.
Let's get into character. All right, perfect. Three, two, one, action. Hey Cassandra, my name is Bruce. I was scrolling through your feed because someone referred me to your page. They said, "Hey, I know you have some problems right now with your mental health, and I know you may not feel comfortable talking to me because like I'm your friend. Maybe you want to talk to a professional." So they showed me your page. Decided to book this call with you. Thank you for talking with me, but
Definitely.
I'm a little skeptical, not because of you or anything, but it's just like I've never done this before and I want to try to be more open with my thoughts, but obviously I don't know what direction in terms of like a service that I want to like try out. So maybe you could talk a little bit more about what you offer. How do you help most of your clients? So that way I can get a little bit of a better understanding.
Yeah. Well, nice to meet you, Bruce. No,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Yes, thank you for taking this beautiful, courageous step in tapping into your mental health. It's very fair to feel uncomfortable when you're coming into therapy, but you're already here. So welcome to the virtual side of it. We offer a lot. I offer a lot when it comes to what One Piece therapy stands for, our holistic value, what that means in your care, right? It's we talk about all parts of you. So of course the mind, but also the body, the spirits, if that resonates with you, and culture, right? And anything else that makes Bruce Bruce. It's important for me to know so that I can support you the best and get to the roots of your concern, right? So I offer approaches like emotion focused therapy, um, and not necessarily, you being emotional with me per se, but I understand your concerns based on what emotional needs are unmet or what has been suppressed or repressed, right? And that is uncomfortable. So I do go at your pace, right? We also talk about relationships, and that can be uncomfortable, especially when it comes to family, or even romantic. So I'm going at your pace, Sean. I have a lot of tools in my box, and it's important that you don't feel overwhelmed. And it's also important that this space is literally yours. And I'm just here to guide the flow.
I appreciate that. And, you know, you mentioned relationships. You know, I am going through a pretty harsh breakup. It happened a couple weeks ago, and I feel like ever since then, like my morale has just kind of been at a low, as not as usual. So, I mean, you know, I think that would definitely help, and I appreciate that you want to go at my pace because, again, like this is completely new to me. So it might take some time for me to open up, but I do appreciate your honesty and your transparency because I feel like I had this like nasty stigma thinking like, oh boy, is she gonna care about what I have to say, or is she gonna just be too business oriented, but I do appreciate the human like approach.
Definitely. That we're humans at the end of the day, and it's important to connect with yourself and with others as you heal. And it's honestly a beautiful journey. It can be messy. Don't get me wrong. It's not no clean etiquette, fork and knife setting. There's a lot of tools involved, but all is well, Sean. I'm very happy to meet you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'll definitely take some time to skim through your site again, and who knows, I'll probably tap into one of your services.
Yes, tap in. I'm here when you need me.
All right, perfect, perfect. All right, scene. So yeah, you guys get the gist of the role play. One thing I do want to say, and I don't know if like this was just like in the moment and the vibe, but I don't know if you noticed, Cassandra, but you called me Sean like
I called
twice.
you Sean.
Yes, which I thought was hilarious.
Oh, that okay. I know my client's name. Let's just be honest. I know my client's name. So let me just say that I didn't know.
It's all good. It's all good. Though. Like you started off with Bruce, and it was like Sean. It was like, I think she's like so into the conversation.
Yeah,
Like
I can't do both.
I get it. No problem. It is what it is. Sometimes like you're into it, so you can't help yourself for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Quickly before we hop off, I do want to do this little quick activity. So we're gonna play a little game, and it's called Which Country Has More? So I have three matchups, and this is based on population. And I'm going according to Wikipedia. So no one come after me in the comments section, please. Like, this is Wikipedia. So we're going to make this super, super quick, okay? All right. So the first matchup I have here, Cassandra, is which country has more in terms of population? Is it Nigeria or Ghana?
I want to say Nigeria.
Okay, is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
All right. You would be 1 for 1. It is Nigeria.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, yes. So according to Wikipedia, Nigeria has over 227 million. Yeah. It's a lot. It is a lot. And then Ghana is 33 million. So
that's a big difference.
it's a huge difference. Yeah, definitely for sure. So yeah, that's an easy one. Let's go on to the next one. Which country has more? Is it Ethiopia or is it Egypt?
Population?
Yes.
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia, is that your final answer?
Yes.
She's like, I'm not sure. It's like, oh boy. Yes, it is Ethiopia.
Oh,
Ethiopia.
nice.
Yep, you're doing good. 2 for 2.
I'm confident
Ethiopia.
now.
Yeah, listen, I think you're gonna do very well. I think you're gonna probably get a full sweep. Ethiopia has 128 million, while Egypt is 114 million. So it's pretty close.
Okay, yeah, closer.
Yeah, closer. Okay, last one. Which country has more in terms of population? Tunisia or Zimbabwe?
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. Is that final answer?
Yeah.
Okay, you would be correct. You went for 3 for 3.
Oh, that's
There
lovely.
you go. I love that. I love that. You know your populations.
I guess so.
Yes.
That's intuition right there.
I love that. I love that. So yeah, Tunisia has 12 million when Zimbabwe has 16 million.
Wow.
So there you go. Perfect. 3 for 3. I think that's like the first time in a long time, like I'll do an activity and someone's got like perfect or did like an excellent job. Yes.
Oh, this is a memorable segment, Sean.
100%. 100%. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Cassandra, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for talking about One Piece therapy with us. It was a fantastic conversation. Just let the people know quickly where they can find you on social media.
Yes, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, Sean. And thank you, listeners, for attending. You can find us on all social media platforms at One Piece Therapy. And Peace is PEACE. Please subscribe to all of our platforms. We keep up to date with all the things health wise. So please do make sure you're in tune with your health.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Cassandra. Thank you to everyone listening. Again, you can find the Safe Room on Instagram at the Safe Room Official. You can find me also at the President of TO on Instagram as well. And again, a quick reminder, please make sure you RSVP for our celebration events that's happening September 20th. If you have supported the Safe Room since day one, if you were there for the last couple of years, or even if you're just discovering the Safe Room now, we would love to have you there. September 20th, happening at 309 Cherry Street, 6 to 11 p.m. You don't want to miss out. It's going to be the event of the year for the Safe Room, so make sure you come out. But until then, guys, make sure you tune in next week to your favorite show on Love Bay Radio. We'll see you guys next time.
Take care.